Judge Raquel West faces yet another repeat offender, Carly Davis, accused of driving under the influence yet again while already out on bond. Prescription drugs, conflicting doctor records, and courtroom tension fill the air. One unexpected decision from Judge West changes Carly's life forever.
Davis and Carly Hoosier, and this is 24 DCCR 1385 and 25 DCCR 1237. And so we were going to be here on reviewing bond conditions, correct? And then the state has filed a motion to increase the bond.
Yes, Judge.
And is that in both of the cases or just that
In
one?
both cases, Judge.
Let me pull this up. I know I took a look at it last week, but.
This one's Judge.
And so we've got both of these cases are driving while intoxicated, third or more. The first offense date is from May 6th of 2023. The second from February 10th of 2025. So I've got some history with regard to prescriptions. Some of it's obviously very hard to read, but it looks like prescriptions for alprazolam and something called D-amphetamine. Okay. Can't tell the date. One of them specifically says no refills. I can't read the dates on this.
We can get better photos, Judge. She had that prescription for,
It shows it expires October 31st for the.
Judge, I had a number of questions about those photos myself. I'm not necessarily, well, I guess I am questioning the validity. This doctor that allegedly prescribed it, this Rajan Desai, there's either an Austin address or a Millburn, Texas address for this doctor. When I looked him up through the Texas Medical Board, and I'm just a little curious about.
So where do you go to the doctor? Where's this doctor from?
From Beaumont, and I do a telemed every month except every 3 months. I go to his office. I have an appointment today.
Today?
Yes, ma'am.
Where specifically?
Telemed today.
Oh. Well, here's what I think I'm going to do based on the nature of what these medications are and the history. Well, are you driving?
No.
Okay, I don't know if I already did, but a condition of your bond is going to be, as of today, that you are not allowed to drive any vehicle ever, period.
And there it is, a lifetime driving ban as a bond condition. Imagine hearing that in court. You can almost feel Judge West's frustration. 4 prior DWIs and still another one while on bond. At this point, she's protecting the public more than just punishing the defendant. What would you have done in her shoes?
Okay, so if you're caught driving, obviously you'll be right back in jail without, probably without a bond. Mr. Coleman, other than a no driving, is there any other?
You know, Judge, I just would like to reiterate, and we put it in our motion. It sounds like the court's read the motion, but she's got 4 previous DWIs, Judge, and in addition, she picked up this latest DWI while out on bond for a DWI.
Right.
And that, along with the positive drug test, I think the public safety, the community safety demands some additional assurances.
and Judge, our argument would be that the DWI itself is for the medications. She's been on these medications for.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're on medication and you're
Right.
taking too much medication, then that's a problem.
Sure.
So you can be on these medications and not be.
Also, the failure of the drug test was for these medications.
Right, I understand that. My biggest concern is the fact that if the medications are not being taken properly or too much of the medications, then that's a larger concern with the safety, and I completely understand and agree with Mr. Coleman on that. How'd you get here today? Here's what I want you to do, what I'm going to order you to do. I'm going to order that at your appointment, I'm requiring you to find out and with your doctor, get a prescription for something that is non-narcotic. So something that is not going to cause these issues, if in fact our concern is that you are misusing or overusing these medications, then there's other medications that you can take. You need to talk to him today. I want you on your way to be off of both of these medications and on something that would not lead to the issues that you're having. Does that make sense? You need to get that information from him, find out what he can prescribe. I want those to Ms. DeLage, and I want her to get those to me. That is a condition of your bond at this point. If you don't do that today at that appointment and get that information to her, then I'm going to, what I'll do today is not rule on Mr. Coleman's motion. So that motion to raise your bond is still out there. And if you don't get this information and you don't get this done today, then your bond will likely be raised and you'll be in jail. Do you understand? All right.
My only question is, the medication to get off of it abruptly can cause.
I understand that. I'm not saying you have to get off of it abruptly. I'm saying I want the plan and how you're going to do it, what it's going to be reduced to, what it's going to take its place, whatever it is. I want that. You need to tell him that you have been ordered to get off the medications, but obviously that needs to be done in a medical way, but I want whatever that plan is and how you're going to do that, and I want that to Ms. DeLay so she can get it to me tomorrow. Okay? All right, y'all are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cause number 16-24485, first year James Loftton. Mr. Loftton was previously in court, and that is a motion to revoke probation. On probation for the third-degree felony of assault, family violence. It was a 5-year deferred at one point, and then in February of 2020, that probation was revoked and given a 10-year term that was probated for 5 years, so went to a straight probation, placed on high-medium caseload and zero tolerance. I've received the updated pre-sentence report also. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, ma'am.
I have your
Any additions or corrections to that?
No, ma'am, the only thing I would say is since PSI,
After a lifetime driving ban and a chilling warning, the courtroom falls silent. But before anyone can breathe, another defendant, James Loftton, steps up, carrying years of violence, addiction, and broken second chances. This time, Judge West's patience will be tested to its limit, and only one verdict will stand between him and 10 years in prison.
is that we have, this last week, we have gone and taken a drug test at Beaumont Occupational, and my client has, is that and I have those drug test results at the appropriate interval.
That's not going to change
Okay.
what I
enough,
do.
fair
Based
enough.
on the nature of that examination and the substance abuse evaluation, I'm going to follow those. I appreciate that he stayed clean for some amount of time.
Yes, ma'am.
But if I'm going to follow after what I just said with regard to the
Yes,
nature of where we've gone on this, he looks like there's a new misdemeanor, driving while intoxicated second, and that was from December of 2023. We're just finally getting here, so I'm going to do what's necessary, I think, if I'm going to leave him on probation to keep everybody safe.
Like I said earlier, Mr. Barrington and I had previously discussed after we both reviewed the PSI that safety may very well be
Yeah.
investigated.
That's what it appears from that evaluation, and so I mean, I rely on them and their
Yes.
evaluation to
Yes,
say
ma'am.
what's best and do. And they're talking about the not just the regular safe P, but special needs safe P, so that it covers everything from mental health to drug treatment to everything else that would be necessary, hopefully, for Mr. Loftton to finally be able to complete this probation. In addition, it will be. I will have to, and not just have to, but I will need to extend and plan on extending that probation period as well, because it's up either already or this year, and it's only pending because of the motion. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anything else with regard to that updated report or with me going forward with sentencing?
No, ma'am, other than the fact that he is working, I have his employer here, if you'd like to hear from them. We would ask that, the recommendation initially was ISF, and we would ask the court to consider ISF and sentencing instead, because he has been working with stable employment with his employer for more than a year and a half now, has had stable housing as far as that goes, and so we feel like that him going to safety would cause financially devastating for him. And so we would ask that he be allowed to go to ISF and then have more strict monitoring on weekly reporting and weekly drug tests with zero reporting.
Ms. Malfino?
I defer to the court's discretion here, but just my review of the PSI, I think safety is probably convenient.
And so with regard to Ms. Jefferson, you initially also agreed that ISF with being on the high-risk caseload after would be appropriate. Is that your, what are your thoughts?
Yes, that was my initial recommendation. But I also included that I don't know much about his case because he had absconded for, I believe, over 2 years.
Yeah. And it looks like there was tested positive for methamphetamine August 14th, last month, denied using it, but stated he had used a month ago, but tested positive for it. It is, if there's
More
some
of a
type.
psychological type situation.
We don't have that, so
No, we
it's just
don't.
regular. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Mr. Loftton, I am going to find that you entered your pleas of true to counts 1 and 2 freely and voluntarily. Find those counts true. Find sufficient evidence to revoke your probation. However, I am going to continue you on probation. I'm going to extend your probation period for 3 years. I'm going to order as a condition of your probation that you enter and successfully complete the SAFE-P program, not the special needs, but the regular SAFE-P program. And that you'll be on the high-medium caseload when you get out. You'll be required to do aftercare. I don't know how to stress strong. If you are back in here, I'm going to look at this paper and I'm going to wonder what I did and why. So you will be required to have a drug patch on at all times when you get out. If there's one positive, you're back in here and looking at that 10-year term. You've already agreed to 10 years. No negotiations, no whatever. This is it. You violate, you're getting the 10 years that you agreed to way back when. Do you understand? Yes.
Judge, the only question I have is, I think he was put on probation in 2016, wasn't he? Is that, can we extend for 3 years?
Well, he was put on a deferred in 2016,
Okay.
and then he was revoked and given a straight probation in
Okay.
2020. So actually, I could extend him for 5 more years
Got it.
instead of just 3.
Got it. Fair enough, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm going to hand you the trial court certification. I need y'all's signature on that, showing that this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. You'll go into custody. Obviously, Mr. Barrington will get it set up as quickly as possible.
Carly Davis stands before her 2 active DWI cases, 4 prior convictions, and a haze of prescription drug misuse that blurs the line between illness and irresponsibility. Judge West pores over the records, uncovering a tangled trail of alprazolam and dextroamphetamine prescriptions, and a doctor whose details barely add up. Carly insists on medical legitimacy, but the judge's patience fades. With a tone both wary and resolute, she imposes a lifetime driving ban, protecting the public from a cycle that shows no sign of stopping. But the day's tension doesn't end there. Next comes James Loftton, a man once offered mercy through probation for assault, now back again after failing drug tests and absconding for years. His defense pleads for leniency, citing steady work and clean stretches, but Judge West has seen the pattern before. Methamphetamine, broken promises, and another DWI hang over him like ghosts of unlearned lessons. Still, she grants him one final chance, a place in a rehabilitation program, extended probation, and a grave warning, one more failure, and 10 years behind bars. No appeals, no second thoughts. As the courtroom empties, her words linger like thunder after a storm. Mercy has its limits, and justice demands resolve. In Judge West's courtroom, redemption is possible, but never guaranteed.